It's really important to know exactly what you put into the garden. So in this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to make your own organic plant food. The best free organic plant fertilizer that you can use in the garden. And all that's coming up right after this. I'm Tony O'Neill and this is UK Here We Grow. And on this channel we deal with all things gardening, poultry keeping and beekeeping. If it's your first time here, consider hitting the subscribe button and bell icon to be notified each time we put out new content just like this. Some of you will have guessed what I'm talking about, and that's comfrey. Now, comfrey is one of those plants that has deep tap roots. It sends its roots down really far into layers of the soil that we can't normally reach. And there it unlocks all them nutrients for us. And it contains things like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium that all plants require in order to maintain a healthy system and to avoid disease. So we know this plant is a miracle plant as far as organic plant food goes. However, if it's not controlled, i.e. allowed to run to seed, then this plant can become invasive. Before you switch off though, you can still grow this plant without it spreading in your garden. If you were to cut this plant down before it flowers, then you could use this plant and it would never be able to spread because it wouldn't produce seed. However, these flowers are much loved by bees, wasps and other pollinating insects. So how do we grow this plant and allow it to flower but not become invasive? Well, we've got you covered there too. This is a variety called Bocking 14, and Bocking 14 is sterile. So we know Bocking 14 is sterile, and this is the Russian Bocking 14 cultivar. It was bred in the 1950s by Lawrence D. Hill. What that means is that you can grow comfrey in your garden without the worry of it spreading and taking over that garden. Now Bocking 14 has beautiful bell-style flowers that the bees absolutely adore. If you wish to get more plants from this variety, the only real way that works is to take root divisions. Simply dig up a plant and cut the roots into 2 to 3 inch pieces and plant these into pots until they start to grow. You can then plant these into a desired location and then you'll have new plants in no time at all. You can cut comfrey up to 4 times a year, and this is where you can get our free best organic plant fertilizer. There is 2 ways in which to make what is known as Comfrey Tea. The first is very easy. Simply place the cut leaves into a bucket, cover with water and place a lid on the bucket. As the leaves rot down, they release their mineral and nutrient content into the water, making you comfrey tea. This can be then added to your watering can in a ratio of 10 to 1. The second way is to build yourself a comfrey pipe. This has a little cost associated with it. However, you can also recycle these materials from skips and people who are disposing of them. A comfrey pipe only holds the leaves. As these break down, they release the concentrated form of the comfrey. This is much easier to store and much less is required per watering can as it's very concentrated. To make a comfrey pipe, simply select the diameter of pipe you wish to use. Here I'm using a 4-inch diameter. I cut this using a table saw and table sled. Simply lay the pipe down and roll it against the back fence, cutting a straight line. Hand saws, circular saws and chop saws could all be used with great effect. The next step is to have a way to prevent the leaves falling through the bottom. Here I'm using an old mesh pot. These are typically used for planting aquatic plants into. I cut the rim off to fit into the pipe. Once that's in the pipe, the next thing is to find a way to reduce the size of the pipe in order to catch the running off liquid. I decided to buy a rubber reducer, again typically used in the pond aquatics industry. However, if your pipe is small enough, the end of a soft drinks bottle could be used. Due to the sloping slides of the reducer, the mesh pot cannot get right to the bottom, giving a bigger surface area for the fluids to drip through. Next, steal an old pair of tights from your wife, girlfriend or boyfriend if he wears them and place over the outlet. You can use a cable tie to fasten them, but I'm lucky enough to have a Jubilee clip. That is it, that's the bottom of the pipe built. We just need to cut a hole in the lid of a bucket the same size as the reducer to fit it in. This will prevent the rain from entering and watering down your concentrate. Find where you wish to place your comfrey pipe and fasten it using wire, cable ties or as I have here the proper brackets for this pipe. Once this is attached to the wall, you are ready to set it up. Simply go to your comfrey patch and cut all the leaves. This process is a little more work than before, as we only really want the leaves for the pipe, as the stems will reduce the amount of leaves that we could use in the pipe. These stems could be placed into your compost, so don't waste them. Once the leaves are about a foot from the top, fill a 2-litre bottle with some water and tie some rope to the end of it. This will be your weight to compress the leaves. Simply put this into the top to compress the leaves and continue until the leaves no longer compress and your bottle is just below the surface. A simple cap can be used, but I have one of these rain vents for this pipe, so I will use this. Drill a hole through the cap wide enough for the diameter of the rope to fit through. Feed the rope through, but make sure you have enough rope so that the bottle reaches the bottom of the pipe before it runs out. Now place the bottle back into the pipe and place on your cap and you're done. You have just made a very effective Comfrey Tea pipe. Now you can make your own organic plant foods from your own plants. How cool is that? Comfrey Tea has many uses and we'll describe some of those in a later episode. I really hope you enjoyed this episode where I show you how to make your own organic plant food. Do you grow comfrey? Do you make your own Comfrey Tea? Put your answers down in the comments box below. I'd be interested to know any tips you have for the community as well, because that way we can all learn together. I would really love it if you'd give this video a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this content, please share it with all your friends. I'm Tony O'Neill, this is UK Year We Grow, and remember folks, you reap what you sow. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.